Okay, here's another CCNA ITN lab. This one is called Basic Device Configuration. Uh, we'll be configuring IPv6 alongside IPv4. We have one router to configure, two switches, and four computers. And okay, let's look at our objectives. Complete the network documentation. So we see that there are some information missing, the default gateways, and perform basic device configurations on a router and a switch, and verify connectivity and troubleshoot any issues. All right. Uh, Here's the scenario. Note the VLAN 1 interface on access switch 1 will not be reachable over IPv6. Okay, looking at our table, we see that for switch 1 and switch 2, there are only IPv4 addresses. So no IPv6 configurations for the switches. It also says in this activity you will configure the RTA router, the ASW2 switch, and the PC hosts. So not switch 1. Here's switch 2. Looks like I can configure it. Switch 1, configure is locked. Okay, so not configuring switch 1. And in our requirements. Okay, so step 1, provide the missing information in the addressing table. Alright, we'll be able to do that as we go along. Step 2, name the router and second switch. So let's get started with the router. Alright, so I'm going to go into global, type hostname, and the name is RTA. And then it says configure the hostname for the switch. Switch 2 is WTAC2. Enable configure T. Hostname is WTAC2. Okay, use Cisco as the user exec password for all lines. Alright, so we're going to type linecon0, password Cisco, line VTY015, password Cisco. Make sure we get that right. And let's do show run. And line aux0 typically doesn't count towards one of the lines when we're configuring passwords. It's hardly used nowadays. We have login on VTY 0 through 4 and 5 through 15. We need login on con0, otherwise it's not going to work. So line con0, and I'm looking right now, it says completion is 9%. I type in login, and it jumps up to 11%. Okay. Alright, let's head to the router, do the same thing. Linecon0, password Cisco, login, line VTY 0 through 15. Okay. Oh, VTY 015. Password Cisco. Alright. Looks good. Then it says use class as the encrypted privilege exec password. So when it says encrypted privileged exec password, what it wants us to do is type enable secret and then the password class. Do the same thing for the switch. Enable secret class. Encrypt all plaintext passwords. We're going to type service password encryption. So remember when we did show run and we looked at the password for the line con0 and line VTY 0 through 15, we can see them in the plain. Now those passwords are encrypted. And then scrolling up, we have that that encrypted password class. That was already encrypted before we did service password encryption, but there it is. I think I already did that for the router. Service password encryption. Okay, then it says configure an appropriate banner. Banner, message of the day, and I'm just going to type unauthorized access prohibited. There's a typical banner. To speed things up, I'm just going to copy and paste this into the switch. Boom. Alright, banner's complete. I'm at 31%. Now it wants us to configure the IPv4 and IPv6 addressing. So let's scroll up on our table, take a look. Alright, we have the 172.14.5 network and the 172.14.10 network. We have link locals, and we have our global unique addresses. So let's go to the router. First thing we need to do is enable IPv6. We do that by just typing IPv6 unicast TAC routing. Now let's interface gig00. Let's no shut this. Let's put a description on gig00. We see that this goes to access switch 1, so I'm going to type link to AS TAC 1. Our IPv4 address is 172.14.5.1, and this is a/24. Our IPv6 address is 2001 DB8 cafe :1:1/64. So it's the one network. And then we need to put in the link local, so we'll type IPv6 address FE80 ::1 and link local, just like that. I'm going to show run, take a look at gig00. So okay, so we have a description, IPv4 address, IPv6 address, and a second IPv6 address. Good. So now let's do the same thing to interface gig01. Let's no shut. Description, link to access switch TAC2. IP address 172.14.10.1. Sorry. /24. IPv6 address 2001 DB8 cafe the 2 network ::1/64. IPv6 address FE80. This is ::2, and that is a link local address. Alright, good with the router. We're at 68% completion. Now it wants us to configure the addressing for switch 2. And looking at the table, we're going to be configuring the IP address for VLAN 1. So let's go ahead and interface VLAN 1. Let's no shut it. Let's throw a description on there. Description, let's just say VLAN 1. And IP address, that is 172.14.10.35 /24. just like that. Okay, no IPv6 for the switch. We are at 79% completion. Now it says the hosts are partially configured. Complete the IPv4 addressing. Fully configure IPv6 addressing. So we had to do all of the IP addressing for the computers. Going to user 1, we see that we have the IPv4 address and the set mask, but not the default gateway. So that is 172.14.5.1, the router's IP. And the IPv6 address for user 1, we find that right here. So I'm just going to type that, 2001 db8 cafe :1 :50 /64, and the default gateway is going to be the link local address of the router, fe80 ::1. All right. User 2, same thing. 172.14.5.1. The IPv6 address, 2001 db8 cafe. This was the one network : and user 2 is 60/64. Default gateway is the link local of the router, fe80 : :1. Okay. User 3. We have 172.14.10 network .50. Default gateway is 172.14.10.1. IPv6 2001 db8 cafe. The 2 network : :50/64. Default gateway is fe80, and this time it is 2. Okay. Last computer. What is that? 10.10.10.102. That is not even remotely close to the network we're configuring. That should be 172.14.10.60. That was weird. Okay. Default gateway is 172.14.10.1. IPv6 2001 db8 cafe, the 2 network : this one is 60/64, and default gateway is fe80 : :2. All right, and we are at completion 100%. I assume everything is working properly. I can open up the command prompt for the computers and ping the routers if I want to, but knowing Packet Tracer, the completion says 100%, then I believe that it is working. So there you go. That's how you complete basic device configuration.